Just like we learn to manipulate nouns by adding different endings to make them accusative or ablative, and we talked about the genitive as well, verbs also have what are called personal endings that tell you who or what the subject is. Now, they might also have a subject, and up to this point they have all had subjects in your textbook, and they often will. But eventually you're going to realize that sometimes verbs will not have a separate noun or pronoun subject, and you have to look at the personal ending to determine who or what the subject of the verb is. So in Latin, in the present tense, singular, the personal endings are O, which tells you the subject is I, S, which tells you the subject is you, and then T, which is the verb we've been seeing all along, tells you the subject is he, she, or it. Now again, there may be an ego at the beginning of the sentence that means I, but not necessarily. You don't need it. Same thing with an S verb. There may be to in the beginning of the sentence that means you. He, she, or it verb, there may be quintus or metella or canis. And if that's the case, great. But eventually you're going to realize that the Romans didn't always include pronoun or noun subjects because they didn't need to, because the subject could be determined from the verb ending. So as always, we're going to start with the principal parts. It's just a good jumping off point. CLAMO, CLAMARE means to shout. HABEO, HABERE means to have. PONO, PONERE means to put. And DORMIO, DORMIRE means to sleep. So, start with the definitions, and then we're going to see how it works when we add different personal endings. So, CLAMO, CLAMARE means to shout, so that means CLAMO means I shout. Just by itself, this word all by itself is a sentence. In Latin, you only need one word to make a sentence. CLAMAS is you shout, and CLAMAT is he shouts. Something you're going to hear me say a lot is you should read Latin verbs right to left, because you're going to see the personal ending at the end. Very often, if it's a specific tense, there'll be a little tense indicator here, and then the stem, this clama, that's what tells you what the verb means. So start with the ending and work your way towards the front of the verb to the left in Latin, and that's going to help you out. HABEO, HABERE, to have. HABEO is I have. HABES is you have. And HABET is he or she has. O, I, S, U, T, he or she. PONO, PONERE means to put. So that means that PONO means I put. PONIS means you put. And PONIT means he or she puts. DORMIO, DORMIRE means to sleep. So DORMIO is I sleep. DORMIS is you sleep. And then DORMIT is he sleeps. Now I'm including the verb to be here, and as you can see, it is highly irregular. First of all, the first principal part doesn't end in O, the second principal part doesn't end in RE, the third principal part ends in I, and what's beautiful about any verb in the Latin language is once you get to the third principal part, every verb is totally regular. That'll make more sense when you learn different tenses. But this is obviously a very important verb. It's going to be a building block of a lot of sentences. So you do need to know that sum is I am, es is you are, and est is he, she, or it is. Again, the endings are, the T and the S are the same. You're going to find that M is very often an alternative ending to O, so that'll become more and more easy for you to recognize. But sum es est, I am, you are, he is.